Zyla and Carissa need this YouTube video. Oh, I should have asked you for some food, Greg. Yeah. Okay. My brother's name is Greg, and he left a few minutes ago, and then he got in and out. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's get started. You guys can hear me okay? You can hear me okay? You can see me okay? Okay. So let's get started. Okay. So even though we're making this a new page, no, I guess we'll just start at example 1 again. I was going to start with example number 11 or something. Let's start with example 1. Okay, example 1. And then the physical location where I put things on the page during notes is the same physical location that you should be putting it. I'm organizing it so that it's easiest for you to find later when you're doing your homework. Okay, so let's do this one. 2x to the third minus 6. And then this one is, I don't want to have a 2 again. So 3x to the third minus 5. Okay, so let's write on the side. We have a couple things to write. The first thing we're going to write is step 1. Multiply means add exponent. So we still want to write that, but we're going to write something underneath it. We're going to write multiply, divide, same sign, you get a positive, opposite sign, you get a negative. Okay, and then for rule 2, we're going to put adding, you keep like exponent, and we'll write the adding, subtracting rules for integers, which is same signs add, opposite signs subtract, and then bigger number tells the sign. Or if you want to think of it as stairs, it's the stairs thing. Okay, so we're kind of combining everything that we've been doing with these questions for the last 6 days. So everything that we've done is kind of in these problems. It's very interesting. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to distribute is this. So I'm just going to draw one arrow at a time so you know which one I'm on. Okay, so what do you think? What do we get with that one? What do we get with that one? Anyone have an idea? So multiply and you add them. Yes, 6x to the 5th. I was trying to call Carissa because sometimes when you have a phone call, you know how it rings differently on your phone. She might have thought maybe a nap would be good. Okay, now when I distribute the next one, okay, so when I distribute this 2x to the third, I want to make it dive in between the negative and the 5. So I'm going to highlight it for you. When you're multiplying that 2x to the third, you're actually multiplying it by -5, not by 5. Okay, that was what I was telling you at the beginning when we were doing like terms. I know we're not doing like terms right now, but numbers have their Mr. or Ms. before them. Okay, so this is like Mr. 5. Oops, let me change my color. This is like Mr. 5. Okay, so what's 2x cubed times 5? Let's just forget about the positive and negative sign for a moment. Hey, Penny, you're so cute up there. You want to come visit me? Okay, so what's 2x to the third times 5? Forget the positive or negative sign. Yes on the 10, yes on the x to the third. So we're going to put 10x to the third. Okay, now what we have to pick is you just multiplied a positive 2 Okay, you multiplied a positive 2 times a negative 5. And so you have to see it as a negative, because if you don't see it as a negative, you won't get it right. So you have to imagine that 5 as a negative 5. So you have to connect the negative in the middle to the 5 and not think of it as a minus sign. It's very hard to convert that way, but if you can convert that way, it's going to really help you in high school math. Okay, so what is positive 2 times negative 5? Is it a positive or a negative? Yeah, negative 10. So this is negative right here. Okay, and then what's the next thing I distribute? Yes, negative 6. Awesome. That's exactly what you distribute. So let's underline the negative 6, and you're going to distribute that to this one. Okay, so what's the answer with or without the sign? Okay, negative 18 is the number. I'm going to put it in red just so we could see it's coming from the second one. Okay, and then what's the letter and the exponent? I agree. Now the last one, what's interesting, I'm going to write it to the side, is it's negative 6 times negative 5. Hi, Zyla. I know you're going in and out. I am making a video of this for you so that you can watch it, but I know you'd rather watch it live. Okay. So what we're doing now is we're distributing with negatives. We're distributing with negatives. Okay. So negative 6 times negative 5 is same signs positive because I'm multiplying. If I was adding, it'd be down the stairs 6, down the stairs 5 is down the stairs 11. But when you're multiplying and you have two same signs, you actually get a plus. So this here at the end is a positive 30. Okay, a positive 30. Okay, so that was step 1. So step 1, you have to use these rules. Same sign positive, opposite signs negative. And now the second group of rules is I need to look for like terms and add the like terms. So are there any like terms? Okay, I agree. Now, when I look at those, remember you have to look at them with their signs. Okay, so remember you need to worry about, you have to look at them with their signs. Okay, so the like terms are negative 10. I'm going to write this to the side. Negative 10, negative 18. So that's down 18 and down 10. And write that to the side also. Okay, because the hardest part of algebra is not necessarily the algebra part, it's the positive and the negative signs. Okay, so the more you work on those and the more you get better at that, the better it will be. Okay, so negative 10 plus negative 18. What would that be? Negative 28. Oops. Negative 28. Okay, I agree. I agree on the number. And then what about the letter? Do we agree with her x to the third? Right? Because we're keeping the like term. And it's helpful because we're using vocabulary words like keeping like term to help us know what to do in the next problem. Okay. Krista, you should take a picture of this. Okay. And then Krista, you get something late. Okay, you're not going to get full credit on your attendance if you are late. Okay, so anyway. And then if you answer my text, that helps because then I know if there's an actual reason or if you're like sleeping or something. Okay, so this is the answer for this one. And then Carissa, you're gonna have to watch the beginning of the video. And then Zyla, probably you're gonna have to watch the beginning, and then Friends isn't here yet. Okay, so let's see, let's go to another one. Okay, so this is kind of a tricky one. So example 2. Okay, Carissa, that does make sense, but you got to answer my text, right? Because if you don't answer my text when I send them, then I think you're not really trying and, you know, in on the system. I feel like you're sleeping. Okay. So example 2. Okay. Okay, so let's do another one. Let's do one that looks like this one. I told you it was common, right? So let me show you this common one. But I changed around the signs. Okay, so we have to be real careful with the signs. Okay, so the first thing, when we multiply, you're going to multiply these two, right? And what do you get when you multiply those two? I probably shouldn't put just add exponents though, right? I should put multiply, add exponents. You guys, I'm not putting the x. I keep thinking I want to put x, add exponent, but that doesn't make any sense because they might think it looks like an x instead of a times sign. So that's why I haven't been putting that. Okay, and then step 2 is when you're adding or subtracting, you keep the like exponent. Okay. Okay, so what's the first one? X to the second. Okay, I agree. If it helps you, put the ones in. Okay, on homework number 10, it's not going to be required, but homework number 9, it is required for you to put the ones in. Okay, so x to the second. And then somebody different from Jeremy, what's the next term? I'm just replying to a parent. Okay. Okay, I agree. And is that positive 8x or negative 8x? Let's check. Let's highlight the positive 8 because when you are distributing it, you're multiplying it by positive 8. So it is a positive. That negative in front of the 5 is not touching the 8 or the first x. Sometimes people, somehow when they distribute, they look at this sign, this negative 5, the negative, but the 5 is negative, not the x. It's very interesting. Okay, so what's the next thing I'm distributing that I should underline? So what's the next thing I draw the arrows from? Yes, -5. And I love how you call that a -5. It just makes me so happy. It's so funny. Like, I get teacher happy. Like, oh, look, they know it's a -5 now and not just a regular 5. I get so excited. Okay. You guys, you'd be laughing if you were in class because I'm like, I get all excited and then, okay. You're like, oh, that weird math teacher. Okay, but at least I try to keep you guys entertained. Okay, so -5 times x. What do you think? Yeah, yeah, I agree. Oh, you just were telling me what to distribute. So what's -5 times x? Yeah, -5x. And if you want, you could put the 1 in front of the x if it helps you. Or if you just look at that and you feel like it's negative 5x, that's okay too. Okay, and then now the last one, I need to multiply a negative 5 times a positive 8. I am multiplying because distributing is multiplying. So what's 8 times 5? Does anyone remember their times tables for that? 40, I agree. And what do we think? Do we agree that it's negative? It is negative, which is good because you know the bigger number tells the sign thing. That would make it positive, but that's if you're adding. So that's good. Okay. And then do we still have our middle two terms being our like terms? We do. And what do we get when we put those two together? Okay, you guys are on the right track. But no right answers yet. Nearly right, but not right. Paul, do you feel like that should be positive or negative 3x? Okay, you guys are close. So you guys are close. So the 8, let's put it over to the left. 8, so put it in the margin. 8 and 5, you went up 8 and down 5. So what do you think? Do you feel like it's confusing, right? Okay, so we're going, I'm going to write this over to the left. So we're going, let me change colors because I was on eraser. So I'm going up 8 stairs. So imagine yourself on, like, you're at the Staples Center, okay? So you're at a place where there's just tons of stairs, okay? So we're going to have ground floor, okay? And you go up 8 stairs. And then you turn around and you go down 5 stairs. My question is, are you underground or are you above? And are you at 13 or are you at 3? I'm at 3. Now, am I above or below where I started at my 0? Am I more going up or more going down? Yeah, so it's more up. Okay, so more up. So if we kind of look at everybody's answers together, so far only one person's been right. So it's no problem. You guys were learning, right? And the only way I know if I need to re-explain things is if you're missing it. So it's real important that you're answering. So I'm super happy. I don't care if you've got answers wrong. Okay, so don't worry about that. But what do we think all together? More up? More up means positive or negative? Okay, so does more up mean positive or negative? If you've gone up more stairs than you went down. Yeah, it's positive. And then if you went up 8 and down 5, when you subtract those numbers, you get 3. And then I'm not sure if this looked like a 5, so I'm going to rewrite it right here. That was a 5, because I think if that looked like a 3, then it would make sense that you got 5x. And then what letter? Yeah. Okay, so it's very complicated. Okay, so when you do corrections, you find the error that you made. Now, it turns out if you make the error in step 1, you kind of have to redo step 2 completely. But if you made your error in step 2, then usually you can find it and then just fix that error. Okay, so if you made an error at the beginning of a problem, it impacts the rest of the problem. So when you do corrections, you'll have to continue to fix it. Okay. Okay, so let's do another one. Okay, we're going to do 2x to the third plus 4. I'd like to do a minus 4. So can you erase and make that a minus? Okay, and then 3x squared minus 5x plus 10. Okay, now I made this one more complicated. What do you notice that looks different from all the other questions? Anyone see what the difference is? That was such a good way to explain that, Brianna. Yes, there are 3 terms in the second parenthesis. So the first thing we do is we don't panic and we think, can I use the method I was using when I recognized it? Okay, so one of the very first things that people do in math is they think if I don't recognize it, I can't do it. Okay, so we don't want to give up, because the way it'll work for math homework, usually at the high school, is trying the questions and not leaving blanks is an important part of the process. So if you're not sure of a question, you want to try it anyway. And if you do need to use photo math, what I tell my students to do is, so that they're not plagiarizing, is write your own stuff in pencil and then fix it in red and say fixed with photo math. And then you're being honest. You're not going to get in trouble for plagiarism, right? Or fixed with Slater. You have it all right there, what you thought you were supposed to do to start with, but you always have to put something before you look at Slater or photo math, because if you do any of those things, then you feel like you never know what you're doing. Okay, so what do you think? Do we feel like we could still distribute? What do you think? Step 1 is multiply, add exponents. You feel like you could still do that for those first 2 terms, the first loop? Yeah. Okay, so what do you get? Six x to the 5th. Okay, I agree. 6x to the 5th. Now, when you distribute the next one, what am I multiplying the 2x to the 3rd by? What am I multiplying the 2x to the 3rd by? Yes. And I love how you've said negative. Okay, so hold on, my loop didn't go. Okay, I think there's a little delay on my tablet. Okay, so 2x to the 3rd times negative 5x. Okay. I agree with your negative 10. And then this is a tricky one. So, yeah, what do you think, Jeremy? Where is she getting the 4th at? What do you think, Jeremy? Do you agree with her? This one? Yeah, but you guys, if we don't write it in, you won't notice it. So I always write it in class. A lot of people do not write it in. A lot of teachers, a lot of textbooks, they don't write it in. A lot of students don't write it in. They'll say, Ms. Nichols, why am I writing the 1 in? It's so stupid. Well, yeah, it helps you get it right. I figure if I just have to write a little 1 in and then I can get it right, I might as well write the little 1 in. So anyway, okay. So actually, Jeremy, I'm really happy you missed that so that I could show you guys the benefit of writing the 1 in. So, okay. So, okay. So we got that. Now, what do you think I should do next? Because we haven't done anything like this before. But instead of saying, hey, I don't know, say, well, let me try. Let me try. And if I make a mistake, so what? What do you think? What should you do with the 10? We've never had that 10 there before. What do you think? 2x to the third. What should I do with the 10? Yeah. Yeah, what do you think? Do you like Brianna's answer? Okay, somebody's in my door, so let me just check. Maybe it's a delivery. Actually, that delivery is for me. You guys, it was the other day I got a text alert that said that my American Express card had been used. And it said it was used for like youth sports. And I was thinking, okay, well, that would be good. But you guys, I'm not a parent. So my puppies don't need anything from youth sports. So somebody must have gotten a hold of my credit card number. Yeah, excuse me, and they used it online. So I was using my credit card to buy something online for my boyfriend, and I was buying it at a couple different websites instead of Amazon. And so it might be that like a hacker got into the, the account information on those sites. It's not necessarily that those companies are stealing the numbers, but you have to be really careful with the numbers on your credit card. So there's numbers on the front of your credit card, and then there's 3 numbers on the back of your credit card. And if they get all of those numbers and the expiration date, then they could charge stuff. So I just changed my credit card, and then they sent me new ones. Just a little life lesson. Okay, so back to what do we think about her 20x to the third? Just make another loop. Oh, I just made another loop. Sorry, I just made 2 loops. Okay, so make another loop. 20x to the third. Brianna, would that be positive or negative 20x to the third? Let's check. Yeah, positive, right? Because it's a positive 10 and a positive 2x to the third. That negative in front of the 4 distracts people sometimes. But that negative in front of the 4 does not go with the 2x to the third. The negative 4 goes with the 4. Okay, so this is a plus. So what do we do if there's more terms? You just do more arrows. Just more loops. That's it. Okay, what am I going to distribute next? So I'm going to use red just so we can see the loops differently. So what am I going to distribute next? Negative 4. I agree. And then we're going to distribute that to all of these. And that negative 4 doesn't have an X on it. Okay. Oh, and they do this some really terrible way in the textbook and like photo math. They do it in like a, I don't know, like a stacking chart. It's so much more complicated. This is the best way. You guys, I've been teaching for a lot of years and tutoring for a lot of years. And my whole goal is how do I figure out a way that my students will understand it the most easily? Okay, and so sometimes other methods are difficult. Okay, so this one, what's negative 4 times positive 3x to the second? So I'm on like my 4th loop, 5th loop, 6th loop. If we wanted to number them, 1, 2, 3. I'm just numbering the loop. Negative 12x to the second. Okay, I agree. Okay, how about some of you who haven't answered in a while? Can you guys tell me a portion? You don't have to tell me the whole answer, but can you tell me a portion of my 5th loop? Somebody who hasn't answered in a while. So my 5th loop here. And let me tell you how class works too. If I'm a teacher and I'm letting students answer, if the same person always answers, that's when I start to call on different people. But if it's a variety, like one person will answer and then another person answers and then somebody in the back and then somebody in the front, then I feel like, oh, lots of people are answering and understanding. But when only one person keeps answering, then I think the rest of the class doesn't understand. Okay, 20. I agree. So somebody who hasn't been answering though. Okay, so Jeremy, Brianna have been answering, and Paul a little bit. So somebody else, Paul, you can answer if you want. But so if you find yourself answering a lot in a class, you're going to want to kind of think, okay, you know, I'm going to pause and try to get other people to answer, not tell them the answer, but just wait, even though you know the answer real fast. It's kind of hard to do, but like be patient, because otherwise the teacher will completely change to just calling on everybody. Okay. Like I'm about to do, I'm about to call on specific people. Brandon, what's my fifth loop? Brandon, what's my fifth loop there? -5 times -4 times -5x. What would that one be? So Brandon, everyone can answer in their brain. Okay, I agree. So he said 20x to the 1. I wouldn't put the 1 here, but he's right. So you'll see me when I write it is I leave off the 1 because when I do like terms, the 1 confuses me. Okay, but I'm gonna put it for now. Okay, but sometimes I'll leave it off. You'll see. Oh, this is an interesting one. Oh, this one's kind of cool. Okay, and the last one. Let's see who hasn't answered in a while. Emily, are you typable? Emily, can you type? I know you have a connection that goes in and out sometimes, but can you type? What's the 6th loop? What's 4 times 10? Emily, are you typable, or can you take off the microphone and answer with your voice? Or Emily, send me a text. Give me the text answer. Oh, she put the answer? Oh, how weird, Jeremy. I got your message. Oh, how weird. Emily, I didn't get your message until after Jeremy's. Oh, that's so weird. And thank you, Emily. What's weird is hers says 12:19. And then Jeremy's says 12:20 and Jeremy's is before hers. Okay, so maybe it's my problem. Okay, so -40. Oh, and she gave me the negative too. Okay, now look for your like terms. Look at all your exponents. Do you see any like terms? Yeah, so this is actually the answer. Weird, huh? Okay, that was an accident though. So let's do another one. I have 5 examples. Okay, let's try this one. It's a little more complicated because there's some numbers missing. So let's put all our numbers missing in. Okay, and then we're going to do one person answers and then they're out. Okay, so answer one question and then you're out. So everyone can answer. So I want to know what the first loop gives me. Sorry. First loop. Good ideas. You guys aren't completely right. Getting closer. Okay. Okay, so you're multiplying, so it's 1. And then it's x to the third. So Paul got it. Okay, so Paul, you're out. Okay. What's the next one? What's the next loop? Negative 5x to the second. I agree. Okay, and what's the final loop at the top? Almost, Brandon. Yes. So we'll give that one to Brianna. So negative 4x. You just, usually, Brandon, we do the answer and then we do the sign later. So I think if I asked you positive or negative, you would have said negative. Okay, but so negative 4x. And Jabriel, you're also correct. You could also write it with negative 4x to the 1. Okay, or you could just write negative 4x. Okay, what's the next thing I distribute? So Brianna, Jeremy, and Paul are out. So what's the next thing I distribute? What I want to know is what's the thing in the second parenthesis, the second thing in the first parenthesis. Oh, you're so close. Okay, Jabriel, you're real close, but you can't. Yeah, because the 3 doesn't have an exponent. Okay, so Emily, I think you got that. I think you just snaked in. Yeah. Oh, typo. Oh, sorry, Jabriel. Okay, next one. You get the next one. Okay, let's see. Let's just give Jabriel get the next one because he almost got that one. Okay, so Jabriel, what do you think about positive 3 times negative 5x? Now you're multiplying. So you are multiplying 3 times negative 5x. I agree. And then what letter? Yep, perfect. Okay, so Jabriel's out, Emily's out, Brianna's out, Paul's out, Jeremy's out. Brandon's out because he just got that one, negative 12. Okay, so this is correct. Okay, now there are like terms, but they're not the second and the third one. So with this, what I usually do is I go by exponent. So you see how this one doesn't have a like term? I just bring it down to the next row. Now remember on step 2, which is right here, step 2, you keep your like exponent. Oops. Keep your like exponent when you're adding. Okay, so my question is, who is a like term with negative 5x squared? So I think I have Thelma, Carissa. Thelma and Carissa, you guys are left. And then we'll start over. So Carissa or Thelma, what I'm looking for is another term that is a like with negative 5x squared. You don't have to add them yet. One of you has to find the other like term, and then one of you has to put those two terms together. So negative 5x squared, and we're looking at Thelma and Carissa. Do you see another one that has the same, like a double-double? Because that negative 5x squared is a double-double. So do you have another one that's a double-double? Yes, but only the one with the same exponent. So not one of them. So which one, see the 5x has a second power on it? I don't know if you wrote the second power on your paper because sometimes people leave it out. Yes. So this one and then the positive 3x to the second. Okay. And then, so Carissa, what's -5? So down 5 stairs and then up 3 stairs. Down 5 stairs, up 3 stairs. What do you think, Carissa? Are you more up or more down? Yeah, you're more down, so that's negative. And then what's if you're down 5 and up 3, you have to subtract the numbers. So what's 5 minus 3? Carissa? We're still working on you because you're going to give me the final answer. Yeah. So 2. Okay. And then what letter would be a like letter? X to what exponent? You're going to keep the exponent. So when you do like terms, you keep the exponent. So if you're going to keep the exponent, you're not going to add them. So what would your exponent be? Yes. So it would be 2. Okay. And then Thelma, who's a like term with this one? With -4x. I agree. Okay. So now everyone's answered and answered correctly. So anyone want to give me what -4x and -15x are together? So it opens back up to everybody. -19x, I agree. And then since I've been underlining and my arrows, that helps you figure out if you haven't lost one, because one of mine's not underlined. So can anybody tell what's left to bring down to the next row? Yes, -12. Okay, I do want to show you one more, which is example 5. Okay, and then I think I'll probably give you maybe 6 of these for homework. I was going to give you like 10, but I think I'll just decrease it to 6. I'd rather have everyone understand. So as long as you're participating and working through, I think then we're in good shape. Okay, so this one's cool. Hold on, let me change that one. I don't like to have the same number twice because then it's hard when we're discussing it. Like what number's which. I have such trouble deciding the last number sometimes. 6. Okay. So let me flip it around. Okay, so I am going to do all the multiplication. I just need you to tell me what to multiply. Okay? There's 9 things and there's 9 of you because Franz isn't here. So you have to tell me what to multiply and I will do the multiplying for you. Okay, so does anyone have what's the first thing I'm going to multiply? Or you can give me the answer to the problem. So you can either tell me what to multiply or you can tell me the answer. So in this one, I just drew the arrow. So you're going to have to tell me what the answer is. Okay, Thelma, you are right. So you are out. Okay, somebody else, what's the next thing I should multiply? Oh, and then let me make sure this is a 2. Because Brianna, I know you wrote 3, but I don't know if that was your typo or because I didn't write it clear enough. So that's a 2x to the second. Okay, so what should I multiply next? I agree, Jeremy, but 4x and what else? So Jeremy, I'm going to let you answer this. So what do I have to multiply 4x with? Technically positive 4x, right? Yes, I agree. So I'm going to multiply these two. So that is positive 8x to the third. And I got the third because of the 1 here on this 4x. Okay, so somebody else, what's the next thing I multiply? Next thing I multiply, or you can give me the answer. Yes, Paul, what do I multiply it with? Yes, I agree. Okay, so that's negative 12x to the second. Okay. So what's the next set that I multiply? Somebody different? What's the next set I multiply? What's weird, right, is the first parenthesis has 3 things in it. So should we ignore the x in the middle? I don't think we should ignore anything, right? Don't you feel like we should definitely distribute this x? I'm going to put a 1 in the front and a 1. But don't you feel like we should distribute this x? Who should I multiply it with? So my 1x, my positive 1x, what am I going to multiply that one with? Yes, I agree. So my 5x squared. Okay, so this would be positive 5x to the third. Oh, let me write that in red. Let's write this in red so you can see it. So that's positive 5x to the third. So I'm doing my red loops. Okay, what's the next thing I multiply? So Thelma's out, Paul's out, Jeremy's out. Brianna, you're only out because you made a typo. I mean, you're still in. Brianna, you're still in. Okay, so what's the next thing I multiply? Or you can give me the next answer. Or you can just tell me what to multiply. What do you think? Carissa, Brianna, Jabriel, I think you guys are left. Yes, she gave me the answer. So 4. So I have to multiply the x times the 4x, and she's right. It's 4x to the second. Yeah, Brianna, you're right too. Oh, but she got there just right before you. I don't know whose internet connection was faster, but it just at the same time. Okay, and then so how about Brianna? You could do the next one. So what's the next one I do? What's my next loop? So this was the loop I just did. Loop number 5. So what's loop number 6? Yes. I have one problem with your answer. I like it. Is it negative or positive? Yes, perfect. Okay, so okay, so Carissa or Jabriel, what's left in the first parenthesis that I haven't touched? Yes. Let's call that a -3, but I agree with you. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'll do this one in highlighter, okay? Now, I'm going to distribute it to all 3 of them. Okay, so when you see that 3, make sure you're thinking of it as a -3. Okay, I'm going to have to zoom out so I have room here on the side. Okay. Jabriel, what do you think -3x times 5x to the second is? What do you think? Negative 3 times 5x to the second. That's perfect. So I'm going to change colors again. So this is negative 15x to the second. And then I believe everybody's gone. So let me do, except I don't think that's possible. I don't know who's missing. Oh, because Zyla left. Oh, and Franz is in here. Oh, okay, so that's why. Okay, so the next one would be positive, it would be negative 3 times positive 4x, which is negative 12x. And then negative 3 times negative 6 is positive 18. And then I'm going to highlight that. So if you have your highlighter, a yellow highlighter is easier to see through. That blue highlighter is really hard to see through. Okay, and then you have to find like terms. Okay, so this guy you're going to bring straight down. Okay, what'd you say, Paul? Like term was, hold on. Ooh, you guys, we have 303 in this chat. That's awesome. Okay, so okay, negative 3x to the third and 5x to the third. I agree. And that would be, oh, they're both positive. So positive 13x to the third. Okay, and let me wiggle. Okay, who's the like term with that one? And this is back open to everybody. Who's a like term with negative 12x to the second? I agree. Anyone see something interesting though? So I agree with Gabriel and Jeremy. But why am I not doing it yet? Yeah, look at this, you guys. There's another like term. Yeah, right? There's a bunch of like terms. Okay, so I'm going to write this over here. So negative 12, positive 4, negative 15. Okay, I usually do the negatives together first, and then I'll do the positive later, but I'm thinking the number is going to be too big. So I'm going to do this. Down 12, up 4 is down 8. And then down another 15 is more down. And then carry the, so down 23. And then that's an x to the second. Okay, and then I have this one and this one. Okay, what about negative 6x and negative 12x? I agree. The 12x is a like term with the 6x. But what if you're going down 6 and then down 12? What's that give you? Down 6x, down 12x. I agree. Down 18x. And then this one I haven't used, so plus 18 at the end. Okay. I'm only going to give you 4 problems. It keeps shrinking. You guys are doing good in participation, but I'm trying not to give you too much work. I'm trying to give you work that is manageable to do within the time period. And then the only time that you would do work outside the time period, I'll have to figure out what homework number it is, because I think I already used homeworks 30 and 31. Okay, so this is, I'm just going to give you 4, because I think some of you can finish 4 in 19 minutes. Okay, so let's just have you get started right away on this. So start with that one. The focus on this one is the negatives. Okay, the focus on number 1 is the negatives. And I'll figure out what homework it is in a minute. Okay, guys, I think I have to give you 5. I'm sorry. I'll make this one have all positives for you, so it's easier to do. And this one too. I'll make these have all positives. Well, let me stick one negative in there and see if any of you guys get it right. Maybe I'll give you a bonus point. Well, I don't want to give a bonus point because then some of you are going to use photo math or something like that, and then I'll give you a bonus point for cheating. There we go. I think you can finish those. Let me figure out what homework number. And we would have time if the people who were late weren't late. So you guys got to be on time. We would have had 15 extra minutes. I'm figuring out what homework number this one is. And be real careful on the signs of the first 3, okay? Be careful of signs. Okay. This is 32. Oh, I need to stop recording. I could save this one for the other people.